What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to that FPL show. It is me and Rod back at it again. How you doing, son?
Yeah, bro, I'm feeling good. Just got back from the gym, sipping a coffee, mate. But yeah, I'm feeling good. Yourself?
I'm shit, Rod. You obviously always are feeling good. And with United, I am always feeling bad. But anyway, guys, before we start this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our upcoming content, including, FPL stuff. We're gonna do World Cup in the winter. It's not even in the summer, and Champions League now before the end of the season. So make sure you subscribe, guys. But anyway, let's get into the video. Rod, you had a decent week, didn't you?
I did, mate, but it could always be better. I was deliberating on Friday. I was chatting to my mate on FaceTime, and I'll go,
Who
"Do
did he support? I mean, we know you
I
got.
United?" And I was like, "Do I put Matip in or do I put Gordon in?" And I was like, "Oh, it could go either way." But I was thinking, he goes, "Put Matip in." I was like, "Fuck it, I'll put Matip in." So I
Yeah.
put him in, left Gordon on the bench. Wrong thing to do. Gordon 10-pointer, which I didn't get. But mate, 77 points, another green arrow. I mean, I think Son saved me more or less. James disappointing again, benched
I mean, yeah.
surprisingly, but Son 42 points.
How
I just
sad? How sad is it that you have to captain a player going up against your own team and just hope that they bang?
I knew he was going to bang. We play such a high line and we're always exposed. And with Kane dropping deep, Fred and Son, I knew he was going to bang. Hence why I went with Son. It was a bit of a differential captain because I know we've been poor, but 42 points, an absolute monster score. Then I had Madders chipping in, obviously Kane, Cancelo, Trent. But yeah, 52k in the world now. Hopefully come top 50k by the end of the season. But main focus is on the mini leagues, but I should be all good. How did you do, Chelsea?
I mean, well, we had the same team running for like fucking 4 or 5 weeks in a row now, I feel like it is. I just keep forgetting to change it. Dead down. I wouldn't mind playing, but I'm in a point where it's not even worth my time. I'm pretty stable in our mini leagues. If you're not first, you're last, and that's how I see it. But I'm not last, and I'm pretty comfortable. Like I said, I mean, I had some good players in there, don't get me wrong. 60 points, probably not bad, not great. Kuleveski, Kane, very good. Fucking hell. Rafinha did well. Rudiger, Cancelo, Trent, okay. I captained Salah. I mean, looking back on it, Son was a great pick. But yeah, my bench was shit. I didn't have anyone like Gordon, so no worries there. But yeah, all in all, decent week, probably, considering I didn't even make any changes. Nothing like yours, though, Rod. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, it was a really interesting week in the Premier League. I can't lie. Having United on as the first game of the weekend is like the worst decision that the Premier League can do for my mental health because I start out every weekend, right? I'm like really different to a lot of United fans. I'm like, I know we're going to be shit. So we get to the weekend and I'm like, all right, better watch United. I know we're going to be shit though, so I don't expect anything. And then when they're even shitter than your expectations, which are very fucking low, it is very disappointing. But I mean, let's start at the top of the table, Rod. There was a massive clash yesterday between Liverpool and City. Did you get to watch it?
I did, mate. I was very, very excited. Obviously, watch Villa Saturday evening. I knew what to expect, so I didn't really beat myself up. But Manchester City Liverpool, I think it was an absolute fantastic game, high tempo. But to be completely honest, I was a bit disappointed in Liverpool. I thought they could maybe get a result, but obviously they fell behind twice. They did come back, but
Twice.
overall for me, they looked shaky. They looked nervous. Second half, it was improved, but overall, I think City had the better chances, and I think they're going to be very disappointed not to have won.
I mean, I kind of agree with you there, definitely, in terms of the game. I mean, yes, City are going to be disappointed they didn't win, but I think the advantage now is firmly with Manchester City.
Yeah.
I mean, the point which separated the two between before the game is still there, and I think when you look at the run of both teams, you probably favour City now. It's still going to be difficult. I don't think any game in this league is easy unless you're playing Manchester United, which Liverpool do have, so advantage Liverpool. But yeah, like you said, really, City with the better chances, all in all, I think you could say. And I mean, there's some good goals in the game as well. De Bruyne, what a guy. Fanta Pants, as Goldbridge calls him. I can agree. But yeah, in your opinion then, do you think that Liverpool... Do you still think that City are the favourites, or...?
Yeah, I'm firmly in the same position as you, and I think it is advantage Manchester City. You do look at the fixtures they have left. Obviously, both teams do have 7 games to play, but I'd probably add City's fixtures are slightly more lenient. But yeah, that Liverpool, I think they had to win yesterday to just give them that extra confidence boost, because Man City they're one of the best at grinding out results, getting results, and just winning. So yeah, I don't want Manchester City to win the league, but I think looking at it, it is advantage Manchester City, and that game yesterday could be crucial in them actually winning the league. Because if Liverpool wanted to push to win the league, I think they had to get more than a point yesterday to add more pressure on City. But yeah, I think looking at it now, I think City will win the league.
Yeah, I probably am in the same boat as you. I'm not fully agreeing on the fact that they needed to win. I think, they've still got the chance to win this league. It's just not in their hands anymore. I think the win would have been brilliant for them. I think they would have put them under a lot of pressure as well. I think Liverpool, despite not really winning it from coming behind, obviously they failed the chance a few years ago to catch City, but it was close, and it could be similar this year. I do kind of think it suits their style of not having the pressure on them going into a game that, the other team is, they're catching us. I think they are definitely more suited as a team to be running up on them, and I think it suits City as well as a team with the pressure all on them. They're solid. Their team is just phenomenal in general. I don't think they've got a weak spot in the entire squad. I think it's going to be hard for them now to really lose it. But yeah,
I mean, looking at City's next 2 Premier League games, they have Brighton and Watford, and then of course looking at Liverpool's, they have
United,
Man United and Everton.
yeah.
And obviously, I mean, in recent years you'd probably say they're quite difficult games due to the rivalry, etc. But this year I'd say it's slightly easier. But nevertheless, they're still derby rival games, so there's a lot on the line, pride, etc. So I think the next April's crucial.
I mean,
obviously we've got the teams have 3 games in April. Coming into May, whoever's in prime position, I think they should win the league. But it's still interesting. It's still up for grabs. But yeah.
Yeah, and do you know how weird this is? Because I'm being honest now, right? I honestly think that Liverpool's fixtures against Manchester United and Everton are easier than the City 2 against Brighton and Watford. Like, no jokes. Like, I mean, we're going to get into top 4 now, but yeah. So let's just get into top 4 and talk about United and that game. Because coming into the game, I was looking on Twitter and that, and I saw a lot of United fans going like, man, we fucking beat Everton and we beat Norwich. We're in this top 4 race again. And I was like, what are you on about? Like, I mean, it's one game at a time at the moment, because how can you think that this United team is going to be consistent in any way? I mean, look at that form. Draw, loss, win, draw, loss. We're consistent at being fucking inconsistent. We are shit. I just couldn't believe some of the stuff coming out of their mouths on Twitter. Not that I'm hating, I'm just saying it was inconceivable to me, as I try and use some fancy words. Yeah, so in that game it was poor. I can't lie. I was watching the boxing at the same time because it was that, like, so far from reality of what I'm used to. Obviously, I grew up in a great era of being a United fan, I think. And it's just gone so downhill after Fergie, right? And I think this is maybe the worst United team I've ever seen. I think it's one of the most maybe heavy on, like, the star end. All the players are, big names in their own right, and it still might be one of the worst teams I've ever seen. I think United played absolutely fucking shocking. Obviously, the goal from Everton was a deflection. I felt like Maguire was a bit of a fucking pussy, not sticking his body all the way in front of it, just letting it deflect off him. But it is what it is, and it's a goal which is bad to concede. But at the end of the day, a team with the style quality of United should be getting back in that game, and they never really showed signs of doing it. I think it's a weak mentality in that United team, and the fact is that Everton won that game, and fair play to them, but they're still in trouble because they are shit, really shit. Like, they were so shit, and they won the game, and I still think they're so fucking shit. That's how bad it was. Did you catch any of the United game?
I did. I watched it, and Everton started quite well. I thought just United were just poor. Like, such a world-class team on paper. On grass, they're far from it. And looking at the table now, you're 6 points off fourth. Yeah, you're well and truly out of it. I think Europa League, Conference League is what you're aiming for. But
I love the Conference League. So we'd be the first team to ever win all three. That would be immense.
I think in United's position, I'd try and do an Arsenal, whereas you simply have domestic competitions and the league. And because a team like United, they need to be in the Champions League. They don't need to be messing around in the Conference League. But that could be their level.
Yeah, it is our level. If we're not even Conference League, mate, they're going to have to make a new one for us.
Everton, I mean, at home they're just a different beast. I didn't even think they were that good, but at home
they were shit. They didn't do anything.
I'm saying in general, at home they play better than they do away, so they always seem to somehow get a result. But I don't know. Everton are 4 points now clear. We'll get onto that in a minute. But yeah, United. I'm not too sure. What United's plan is. I have seen that Ten Hag is pretty much in advanced negotiations for getting the job. So yeah, I think just as a Villa fan as well, just get to the end of the season and just start a new one next year, because right now it's, for a lot of clubs, including United, don't really know where they're going.
I'm so glad there's Champions League on this week again, because I fucking love watching this European football at the moment. I think it's really interesting. The Premier League has just gotten on my tits at this moment, especially with United. But did you catch the Arsenal game? They kind of bottled it, right?
I watched a bit of it, but yeah, they're injury-ridden. Tierney's out for the season. Partey's out for a long time, and they've just got a load of injuries. And Brighton at home, that's a game you look at Arsenal, it's like, okay, they should get a result here. But Brighton beating them 2-1, and it's advantage Spurs now. 100%. Arsenal, as an Arsenal fan, this is what I alluded to earlier on, where the inexperience in Arsenal's team could cost them. It's all well and good having the younger squad for the future, etc., in the Premier League, but when you come to the business end of the season, you need winners. You need people who've been there, done it, to boost the team, to instill confidence. But like right now, I know they have a game in hand, Arsenal, but that's against Chelsea. They're 3 points behind Spurs. Their goal difference is far superior than Arsenal's. So it looks like Arsenal have bottled it a little bit. Obviously, there's still 8 games for Arsenal to go. Anything can happen. But as an Arsenal fan, that North London derby, I think in a couple of weeks or later on in May, is huge. It's absolutely huge.
Can I get your opinion on the Martinelli offside?
I didn't actually see that, to be completely honest.
No, it's a really weird one. I'm not sure what was really going on with it, whether it was because they were trying to see who the last man was or not, but it took them for fucking ever to get this offside decision done, just once again showing how inadequate VAR is.
In regards to that, obviously I didn't see it, but if a decision takes so long, you've just got to give the benefit of the doubt to the attacker, because it's clear. It's not clear and obvious. Do you know what I mean? It can't take 4 or 5 minutes to make a decision like that. So that's what needs to change.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Tottenham, man, for me, I thought they were the favourites going into it now. Like I said, I thought United were out of it even before this Everton game, and I felt like Arsenal didn't really have the minerals. And it's kind of weird to be saying that I think Spurs aren't going to Spurs this up, because I think that they've got a really good squad in terms of, like, they have the sort of players that, you definitely want in this sort of situation that they're in. Sure, I think the squad can be improved on, but in my opinion, the biggest thing which has happened to them in a long time is being able to bring in Antonio Conte. And he is such a good manager. I really do believe that if Spurs can get some business done in the summer, I think they'll be not necessarily in it for the whole year, but I think up until Christmas next year, well, up until the World Cup break at least anyway, I think they could be in and around that first, second position.
Yeah, that's what Conte brings you. That depends if he is there in the after the summer, etc. We know what Levi's like in terms of the way he runs the club, etc. But yeah, Tottenham they've got a core of very good players, and when you've got Kane and Son who create everything for each other and score, etc., it's a recipe for Champions League football. They're phenomenal footballers, hence why our captain's Son. I know the way Villa play, we play a high line, we're exposed on the wings. And to be completely honest, I thought first half we were incredible.
I
That's one of the
thought I
first.
thought after you conceded that you were the better team.
I thought we were that whole first half we were brilliant, and then second half we conceded again quite early, and we just went to shit. And we were, I mean, at 4-0, I was just like, I wasn't annoyed because I haven't been annoyed at Villa results in over a month because the season's over. We're very inconsistent. I think what we need to change a good few players because they haven't got the right mentality and we can't progress. We need people who are winners, who are got that driven mentality, and I don't think we have that in the team. I think we've got a lot of people whose head falls very quickly, and that starts all the way from defence up to attack. So yeah, I think we need. Apparently, we've got 400 million to spend because of that Grealish transfer, him being an academy prospect, etc.
400
So
million?
yeah, so
How's that work?
so I'll get it up now for you. Obviously, we sold him for 100 million.
Yes, it was a record English
Listening
signing,
to
right?
a finance expert, and he said the sale of Jack Grealish because he came from the academy is 100 million of pure profit. If you sign a player on a 4-year contract, you get 400 million spending potential. This is because of the way that amortization works, with incoming transfer fees split over the length of a player's deal. But for outgoing transfers, you tend to get all of that money in one swoop, as far as the accounts themselves are concerned. And that's from finance guru Kieran Maguire. So oh, God knows how much we are going to spend, etc. Because we
Yeah.
have plans to renovate the stadium, things like that.
But you're going to be looking at an investment definitely equal, if not to like sort of double what you spent last year, which was, what was it, like 140 in the end?
And we got to remember this. Obviously, these are Dean Smith's players. Gerrard, yeah, he's brought in Coutinho, Dean, etc. But these are ultimately Dean Smith's players, and they were brought in for Dean Smith's style of football. So it'd be interesting to see what Gerrard does. And it's an exciting time. But yeah, getting back onto Spurs. Sorry. Yeah, Spurs with Antonio Conte, I think they're in a good position now. Like they just look relentless on the attack, and anytime Son can get the ball, anything can happen. And that first goal for Son, I thought it was a brilliant finish. Poor defending, I must admit, but still, you've got to be there to finish it. And to score a hat trick from an XG of 0.66, that clearly shows how clinical his finishing was.
100%.
But yeah, I do think Spurs are going to secure that fourth place due to their experience.
Yeah, and I've kind of been in the opinion that for a while now. Not that I don't think Kane's good, because I think he is, but I think in terms of value, I think Son's probably above him. I think the threat of his pace in modern football is so apparent, and the way he dribbles with the ball, like you said, the finishing, brilliant player. I'd love to see someone of that quality in the United shirt performing how he is at the moment. But in terms of the game, I actually thought, like you said, Villa were the better team in the first half after conceding. I thought they was okay. I can't remember up until the goal, but I remember after they scored, Spurs, I thought he was a much better team. In that second half, some of the defence was fucking shocking. The last goal, I think it was, I was like, oh, what an assist from Kane, because of the like flicked on header. The precision of it was class, like, but the way Konsa just, oh shit, let me go, sprint up to him. There wasn't that like sort of immediate threat for him to need to do that, and he just left that massive gap in the back four. And I like Konza. It's normally Mings the one who I get onto, but I thought that was shocking from him. And like you said with Villa, they definitely need that upgrade in the summer, and it's going to be, I think as a Villa fan, it's going to be really interesting, because I think you've kind of got that pull to your club as a team that's going somewhere. Obviously, you've got the money to spend without this 400 million, what you're talking about, like your owners are, willing to spend the money. So it's definitely going to be intriguing in the summer to look out for. But Rod, the Premier League did kick off on Friday with Newcastle getting that 1-0 win over Wolves. They're only 2 points off you now, which is crazy to think that they didn't even have a win. But in January, didn't they? It was crazy.
we were discussing about how if they can even get to the transfer window and still be safe. But yeah, now they're 2 points off us. It's. I mean, they've done. Eddie Howe's done a brilliant job. I mean, he's on 34 points, and before Christmas they were literally down there. So yeah, I think Newcastle. To be completely honest, they've obviously got that boost of the new ownership. The players are feeling the boost, and especially when St James is a beautiful stadium, one of those old-fashioned stadiums, high ceilings, and I was very loud. And yeah, to be fair, must admit, watching that game Friday though, I thought it was horrific. Wolves play such an anti-football. Don't get me wrong, yeah, they're on 49 points, and congratulations. But watching them is genuinely horrific, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's weird, right? Because despite getting rid of Nuno, they have basically his twin in Bruno Lage, who's I mean, don't get me wrong. I think in some ways they have been a lot more offensive this season, and I think they weren't able to get a lot of their chances tucked away. I don't think Jimenez is the player that he was before the head injury. I think people like Trincao have definitely been short of consistent in front of goal. And I'll be interested to see what they could do next season. But like you said, they definitely aren't a team that's great to watch. But Newcastle definitely confirming their safety with that win.
Yeah, so obviously I think Wolves' defence is brilliant, don't get me wrong. But like looking at the amount of goals teams have scored, so you've got Brighton who've scored 28, Watford who have scored 29, Wolves who have scored 33. That's the same amount as Everton, one less than Newcastle. So they don't score very often due to the style of play, but their defence it's brilliant, and that's where they excel. They can get the 1-0s, they can get the 2-1s, or they can grind out like 0-0s.
Yeah.
So that is where they excel. But yeah,
it's just like I said. I think it would have. They definitely need investment. Maybe I think they're probably going to be looking for. I'm not sure if they'll be looking to replace Moutinho this season. I think it's probably likely at the end of the season that, you probably should be looking at a replacement with his age, but especially up top, I do like a lot of their creative wingers and stuff, but I don't think Fabio Silva, the striker, I really don't think he's not ready for me to be the main man for them.
I completely agree with you. Like I like Podence, I like Trincao, I like Neto, but off a 40 mil for Fabio Silva, it goes under the radar because he's a young prospect, but it's a lot of money for someone who I think he scored like one Premier League goal or something ridiculous.
Yeah, I was going to say they should play 5-4-2, but that's too many numbers. But for me, I really would like to see what they could do, a two-man striker option, just because, like I said, I'm not really impressed with them. But yeah, like I said, Newcastle definitely secured their safety, and for me, so did Leeds with that brilliant 3-0 victory over, who did they beat?
Watford. Yeah, I completely agree with you
Watford.
there.
And I was completely joking when I said 3-0, Dan James hat-trick, but they did get 3-0. Dan James didn't get a hat-trick, but yeah, it's crazy, right?
I think that leads us on to obviously the relegation battle, and for me, yeah, like you said, Leeds, Newcastle, they're safe. Everton, Burnley are 4 points off them, 8 games to go. That's, for me, that is quite significant. That win at United for Everton against United was quite huge for them, and Burnley failing to beat Norwich.
Yeah, huge.
Cornet missed an absolute sitter at 1-0. And then obviously Pukki goes up the other and scores a bit later on. But like looking at it, Norwich, I mean, they're 7 points off with 7 games to go. They're pretty much down. Watford at 6 points off, 7 to go. I think it's between Burnley and Everton, but I think it will stay as it is right now. Burnley, for me, they had to beat Norwich, especially after beating Everton midweek. They had to beat Norwich on the weekend to sustain that pressure, and Everton getting a huge result has helped them massively. So yeah, I think Burnley have finally seen their destiny, and I think it looks like they are going down. But obviously, 8 games to go. Anything can happen. It is the Premier League, but I don't believe personally anymore that Burnley can fight their way out of it. Not this time, anyway.
Well, I'll tell you what I don't believe, Rod, and I don't believe that Burnley are going down. I'm going to stick with it. Don't you know, pump out Sean Dyche is staying up. He knows. He don't do relegation, mate. I've told you this. Yes, the performance was poor against Norwich, and it's kind of null and voided that victory over Everton. But for me, I still think that he's got the minerals to keep this club in the Premier League, and Frank Lampard hasn't. I mean,
Frank has the players, unfortunately, though.
yeah, I think it won't be long before Jada Pickett's got more hair than Frank Lampard. The amount of stress that guy's under. Fuck you, Will Smith. But yeah, you know, I still think they can do it personally. I know it's not going to be easy, but I think out of the two sides, the side which has shown more promise for me has been Burnley. Everton is shit. I know they got that result against United. That's because United are... I don't actually think there's a team I wouldn't back to beat United in this league in this moment in time. But I was going to ask you one more question just before we go into fixtures and that, Rod, and that is, with Tottenham, which players, because I think they are the informed team of the moment, despite other than Liverpool and City. With Tottenham, what sort of players are you looking to bring in from them in fantasy? Are you set with the players you've got at the moment, or is there anyone that you really like the look of?
So obviously Doherty's been announced that he's out for 12 weeks.
Yeah.
With an injury. I thought, to be completely honest, not being biased here, I thought it was a brilliant tackle by Matty Cash. I think he gets all of the ball, but obviously the injury is unfortunate. I hope obviously he gets well soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had Doherty in my team. I will be obviously bringing him out now. I've got Son and Kane. I think I'm pretty locked on due to my team structure, keeping that. I do want to bring in Kulusevski, but that means either getting rid of one of Saka or Maddison. More so Saka after the next game week. 100%. Obviously, this one they've got a double. But Kulusevski, Kane, and Son, the trio, they're just formidable at the moment. And I probably wouldn't touch any of the Spurs defenders. I really like Doherty as a 4.8 million choice, but I don't really trust anyone. But yeah, Kulusevski, Kane, and Son for myself. I had
Kulusevski and Kane, and they've been kind of tearing up for me, despite me doing shit. So yeah, let's get on to these fixtures, man. Obviously, it's a big week again in the Prem. It all kicks off on Saturday. Early kickoff, Spurs against Brighton, Rod.
Yeah, so obviously we've got a reduced Saturday fixture list, don't we, due to the FA Cup, but Spurs-Brighton should be quite an interesting game, especially if you captain a Spurs asset, but game week could be quite a long one if your asset doesn't score. But I'm going to go for, I think Spurs have got the upper hand here. Brighton, they're not really playing for much. I'm going to go 2-0 Spurs, with Spurs being at home, of course.
Yeah, mate. I favour Spurs in this game. Obviously, Brighton come in off the win against their North London rivals, but I do predict them to be winners in this one. Manchester United against Norwich, Rod?
I think it's been quite a boring game, to be honest. Norwich, I mean, they're still fighting for their lives, but they're basically drowning, and I don't really know what United are doing with their lives at the moment. I am probably going to go just the easy one, and United probably 2-0.
Fuck off, because every time you pick United to win, they lose, so I'm going to go with United. I always pick United to lose, so I'm going to go with United. United 0, Norwich 2. Norwich 2-0. Southampton against Arsenal. I think this is an interesting game. Obviously, Southampton getting embarrassed against Chelsea. And I'll tell you what's the most embarrassing thing about it. It's not even the scoreline. It's the fact that Timo Werner scored twice. I'm going to go with Arsenal to actually not be able to beat them, though, still. I'm going to go Southampton win. 2-1 Southampton. James Ward-Prowse for free kick.
It's interesting. Yeah, Southampton get an absolute mould on the weekend, but I don't think that they're going to beat Arsenal. Arsenal need some sort of victory here. They need to, because if Spurs win the early kickoff, Arsenal are going to feel the pressure immensely. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 Arsenal here. For me, Southampton, they're on the beach also.
Do you remember when Southampton lost, was it 9-1 twice in a row? Well, not twice in a row, but twice in the season. Last year, I think it was.
I think, was it when they played Man United? Because I had...
Yeah.
Captained.
Yeah, and there was that meme of Anthony Joshua going, the first time was so nice, I had to try it twice. I wouldn't be surprised if they still lost 6-0 this weekend again. Would be in fashion. Watford against Brentford. Brentford, another victory last weekend, was it against Leicester?
Against West Ham.
West Ham, that's right. Yes, West Ham. Sorry, my bad. But yeah, Ivan Toney and Mbeumo, after me calling them not clinical, they went and both scored. I think they'll do it again. I think Watford have put up a little fight to this relegation battle, and I think they'll lose again. So I'm going to go Brentford 3-1. Ericsson, free kick.
It's interesting with Brentford. Obviously, they've been quite inconsistent as well. They go through decent patches. I mean, obviously they beat Chelsea 4-1, then they beat West Ham 2-0 in the last 2 weeks, so that's quite impressive. So Brentford now, I think they're just enjoying their football. There's no pressure on them. They're not going down. They're on course for probably a mid-table finish, which is quite impressive considering. I mean, they are on 36 points, the same as Villa. 1 point behind Brighton, 1 point behind Palace. So they've had an incredible season by their standards, to be honest. And I think they'll probably beat Watford. Watford, they've been really disappointing. And when you change a manager 500 times in a season, what do you expect? So Brentford 2-1 for me.
I don't know. I think if they could change their manager once again, though, he could even put up a fight, you know? Mate, not even a magician can change shit into something else. Yeah, Newcastle against Leicester, though. I think this is... I mean, it's pointless. Like, this is the stage of the Premier League where most of these games don't mean fuck all. I'll just go with a Newcastle win at home. I think they're really... I mean, in front of their home fans, they're definitely very good. So I'll go with Newcastle 2-1.
I'm going to be of similar opinion here. This game, in the grand scheme of the Premier League, means absolute zero. Leicester do have a huge game on Thursday against PSV, so it depends if what happens in that game. Whether I think, especially it's only a 3 day, 3 days between the two games. I see Newcastle winning here purely because of I think Leicester will be physically and mentally tired depending on the result on Thursday. So yeah, Newcastle 2-1.
Yeah, fair enough. West Ham against Burnley. I think Burnley are on for a shocker here. I think they're going to be able to get it done. I think they can do it. I'm going to go Burnley 2-1. Vegas with some sort of goal where you're like, oh, he's a target man, so he's going to score from across. He is, but it's going to take a deflection. Then it's going to take another deflection. Then it's going to hit him in the shin and roll through the goalkeeper's legs. And then they'll score another one with like Tarkowski from a corner.
Vegas was one of the worst footballers I've seen grace the Premier League.
No way.
He's poor. He is very, very poor. I was impressed when he first came in. He did well, but the ball just doesn't stick to him. He is a Burnley player because he's a target man, but I'm not going to lie to you, Vegas, unfortunately, bro.
Dutch international.
He is, but I think West Ham depends if they're hungover from Thursday as well. Huge game against Lyon. I think if they beat Lyon, I think they beat Burnley. If they don't, I think they could lose against Burnley, so I'm going to go for 1-1.
Okay, Liverpool against Manchester United takes place on Tuesday as the Premier League returns to midweek action. I mean, how many can I count on one hand? 5, so I'm going to go 5-0 Liverpool.
And that's it. So what was the return legs? What was the fixture at Old Trafford?
Don't know, it didn't take place in my books.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with a similar opinion. I think Liverpool 3-1. Liverpool, they need to win here. Obviously, they've got the FA Cup on Saturday or Friday or whatever the day is, and then they face you on Tuesday. So yeah, I'm going to go 3-1 Liverpool.
Fair enough. Wednesday is a jam-packed Premier League day. Chelsea against Arsenal, I think probably the tie of the of the day. I think Chelsea, obviously, I don't think they've been good. I think their performance against Brentford was woeful. Real Madrid, I didn't think they offered much, and I thought they showed a good comeback, but I didn't think who did they smack? No, Southampton. It was boring to me because I didn't think Southampton put up a fight. I'll go 2-1 Chelsea.
Yeah, this is a huge game for Arsenal. Absolutely huge. This is their game in hand. Unfortunately, I can't see him winning it. Obviously, going to Stamford Bridge, I'm going to go 2-1 Chelsea.
Fair enough. Everton against Leicester, I think Everton... This is a game where Everton could win at home against Leicester. I'll go 1-0 Everton.
Yeah, this is a game Everton are going to be looking at. Leicester haven't really got anything to play for at all in the Premier League. Yeah, I'm going to go Everton. They are at home, so yeah, I'm going to go 2-1 Everton.
Fair enough. I'm gonna go with a Newcastle win over Crystal Palace, not because I don't think Palace are good enough to beat them. I just think at home they might jam it. So I'll go 3-2 Newcastle in a thriller.
Yeah, I see this game being quite a thriller as well. Palace, bit of a weird team for me this year. There are times where they're very good, there are times where they're below average. So obviously they're still finding their feet. New manager, first full season, so it's understandable. But I'm going to go 2-2 here.
Yeah, you sound like Gattuso there. Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. City against Brighton. Massive game in terms of the Premier League title race. I just don't see City be losing. So I'm going to go with... Pep likes to go 2-0 up and kind of coast it. So I'll go with 4-0 City.
Got to admit, Brighton do have quite a good record against Man City.
Yeah.
I do. I want a Brighton win here, just purely because I don't want City to win the league. That's purely a personal viewpoint, but I'm going to go 2-1 Brighton.
Okay. And the last game of the game week, the most important, Burnley against Southampton. I think Burnley get it done. They keep the pressure on Everton. And once again, it's going to be another 3 goals from them. Weghorst hat-trick. 3-0.
I mean, probably be at the pub for this one. I wish it was a better televised game. I don't know who decided to broadcast Burnley Southampton on Thursday, but fair enough, Sky. GG. It's just an awful game on paper. But I'm going to go purely Southampton 2-1.
Good job the game's not paid on paper because it's a great game on grass and Burnley 3-0. Let's go. Right, guys, that's the end of this video. Me and Rod, we're done. As if you have enjoyed the video, make sure you do like and leave us a comment with anything you want to see. We're going to be bringing out a Champions League video probably on Thursday, maybe Friday, but we're going to be bringing loads of new content to the channel, so make sure you subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Take care, guys. Bye.